Hi, everybody. It's me, Lisa T, coming at you with some positive energy, reading The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. We are reading, here or there, we are reading today, saying yes, August 9th, asking for what we need. I had multiple conversations in the last couple of days about with people and let it and I first needed to learn it myself, and then I was sharing that about being direct, asking like I assume like my body language should tell that person, obviously, like or the tone in my voice should obviously let them know that I'm frustrated or sad or uncomfortable or blah 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 blah. And a friend of mine, this is a couple of weeks, said, Lisa, just you need to use your words. I'm like a child in that area at sometimes, like you need to use your words. You need to be assertive. You need to be direct with people. People can't read our minds. People can't always read our body language. Yes, body language is like 80% of communication, but we need to learn to be direct and speak our needs and say what we need and say our truths and speak, use our words. So we need to ask for what we need. So that someone can, and then you give the other person the opportunity to say, like, especially in a close relationship, you give the other person the opportunity to say, I can do that or I can't. And then that gives you more information, right? So yes, we got to use our words. So asking for what we need, August 9th. Decide what it is you want and need. Then go to the person you need it from and ask for it. Simple. And the best one is asking your higher powers, asking God, asking you shall receive, asking you shall receive. And also, but deciding what you want to need. I also did, this was like a year or so ago, maybe 2 years now. I did a wants and needs list with a friend. And so I put down what my wants were in life and then what my needs were. And it was interesting because my needs list became actually part of a wants list, and they weren't actual needs, like what we really need, actual needs, getting down to that, figuring that out. It was actually really, relieving. It was eye-opening, and it gave me freedom because I thought, oh, I need this, I need that, I need this, and once I recognized, oh, I don't actually need that, I was able to be free and live with more acceptance, I guess. So yeah. So yeah, decide what you want, decide what it is that you want and need, and then go to the person you need it from and ask for it. Sometimes it takes hard work and much energy to get what we need and want. We have to go through the pains of identifying it. So first you got to identify it, what we want, then struggle to believe that we deserve it. I did an energy healing thing with a coworker back a little while ago, and one of the things we were working on some body energy stuff, and in one area she was working on, and she said, "Now say I deserve better," and I was like, I like literally couldn't spit it out. And so I had to work on that. It was a struggle and it was painful. It was painful to recognize, oh my God, I can't say I deserve better. And then I had to like mantra that for a while and rampage it. I deserve better. 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 There's something that happens when you say that repetition, repeat something over and over to yourself. You start to believe it. Like I've explained multiple times, that a belief is simply a thought that we think over and over and over, and we'll act on our beliefs and we'll create our reality through our beliefs and our emotions. So we want to clean all that shit up. Okay. So yeah, we have to go through the pains of identifying what we need, then struggle to believe that we deserve it. Then we may have to experience the disappointment of asking someone, having the person refuse us, and figuring out what to do next. Like I said, when you ask for it with, people in your orbit, then you give that person the opportunity to say, yes, I can do that, or no, I can't. And that's good information. So yeah, and if they can't, then we figure out what we do next. Can I supply it for myself? Can I go to someone else for that need to be met? Like, we that's why we have a support system, not just one person that we rely on. So sometimes in life, getting what we want and need is not so difficult. Sometimes all we need to do is ask. So sometimes it's a little bit challenging, but sometimes all we need to do is ask. We can go to another person or a higher power, like I said, and ask for what we need. But because of how difficult it can be at times to get what we want and need, we may get trapped in the mindset, it's just a mindset, of believing it will always be that difficult. So don't believe just don't believe that. Believe it'll get easier. It'll get easier. Tell yourself that, and then you'll start to operate from that belief system. If you tell yourself that, oh, this is always going to be difficult, then you're going to operate from that belief system, and then you're going to prove yourself right. Self-fulfilling prophecies. So, because of how difficult it can be at times to get what we want and need, we may get trapped in the mindset of believing it will always be that difficult. Sometimes, not wanting to go through the hassle, dreading the struggle, or out of fear, we may make getting what we want and need much more difficult than it needs to be. We can be our own worst enemy. We can make it more difficult by not wanting to go through the hassle, by not wanting to deal with the struggle. We've got to go through some of the pains of growth, right? Growth pains. Growing pains. Growing pains are real for children when they're bones, and growing pains for us are real when we're going through the growth of a spiritual journey. So we may get angry. We may get or out of fear, we may make getting what we want and need much more difficult than it has to be. We may get angry before we ask, deciding that we'll never get what we want, or anticipate the fight. We may think, oh, they're going to resist. This person's not going to do it. And then you're going to set yourself up, right? Remember that your mind is a very powerful thing. Your belief system, your emotions are a very powerful thing. They're an energy. They can create or destroy the life that you want or don't want. We may get angry before we ask, deciding that we'll never get what we want, or anticipate the fight that we'll have to endure. By the time we talk to someone about what we want, we may get so angry that we're demanding instead of not asking. Delivery is so important. So thus, out of anger, our anger triggers a power play that didn't exist except in our mind. So many things only exist in our mind, especially fears. They're just fears. They're just in your mind. They're not reality. Shit in your head is not reality. Or we may get so worked up that we don't ask, or we waste far more energy than necessary fighting with ourselves, our own worst enemy, only to find out that the other person, our higher power, is happy to give us what we want. So we put up all this crap in our head, and then we ask, and they're like, yeah, no problem. We're like, oh, why did I bother struggling and stressing and etc., right? Doing it to ourselves. So sometimes we have to fight and work and wait for what we want and need. Sometimes we can get it just by asking, or state that this is what we want. So sometimes it's going to be easy. Sometimes you might have to fight a little bit for it. Sometimes you're not going to get it. Sometimes it's going to be just free flowing. It can happen in an array of different ways. So sometimes we have to fight for it, or sometimes we just by asking or stating that this is what we want and need, we get it. Ask. If the answer is no, or not what we want, then we can decide what to do next. So if you hit a hurdle or you hit something, then you just make a decision about how to solve, like I talked in other videos. Now, this may be a little problem. How do I solve it? Live in the solution, not the problem. What can I do next? What's my next step then? Keep on moving forward. Here's your prayer for today. That's it. Today, I will not set up a difficult situation that does not exist with other people. Today, I will not set up a difficult situation that doesn't exist with other people or my higher power about getting what I want and need. If there's something I need from someone, I will just ask before I struggle with it. Before you decide this is not going to work, before you decide there's no way it's going to happen, ask. Take that first step. Okay? Go out, have a beautiful day, amazing day, loving yourself, and ask, and you shall receive for what you need. Thanks for watching. Love you all.